Good Monday. Happy Monday. Yeah, looking at the tape, it was a really good performance. Kids played hard. I think certain areas we were looking to improve upon, we did. I thought our offensive line did a nice job giving Jake, those running backs, a chance to get something done. Defense, played good. Taking out, some of those wide receivers, and certainly Nikhil slowing him down a little bit. And so we were pleased with those guys. And now we're on to a completely different and new challenge. That's what we've been doing for the last day and a half, is looking at our new challenge, and it is completely different than the last one we just saw.
Coach, when you look at BYU, what is it that stands out to you about BYU?
I think the number one thing is completely different than what we just saw. I mean, 180 degrees. On defense, they're different, exact opposite. And on offense, the similarity to be is they really run the ball, like Arizona State. Did a nice job of running the ball. But this offense is something we haven't seen and won't see again in terms of all their shifts and motions and fly sweep action. It's extremely unique. Do a nice job with it. It's a little bit like, you can equate it maybe to option football in terms of really making you play assignment sound. You have to do your job before you can chase the ball. And they got a nice system off it. Done a good job.
Chris, you mentioned the job on Harry Saturday. 20 yards was his lowest output in 20-plus games going into this freshman. How much of a badge of honor is that for those guys in that secondary?
Well, yeah, I think it's awesome. I think, like I said, I think their strategy was maybe a little bit different too. For whatever reason, they weren't really trying to go that direction. I mean, they were testing the waters, and our guys were on it pretty good, played good defense. But their strategy was to keep it close and maybe shorten the game and be in the fourth quarter and run the ball, and they really did that. I thought one of the plays of the game was the play that Nikhil made in the fourth quarter on punt return, because if we tackle him there, I just really think the game's over right there. It's just a long way to go on our defense. But he gets the ball almost at the midfield, and then they're able to get something done. And so, we did a nice job containing him, but he found a way to make a play and kind of influence the game.
You had a couple of drives where you guys really mixed up your running backs. I think you had one drive where Savon and Miles and Pleasant all had carries. Was that kind of the plan going in, or did that just kind of materialize as the game went on? There's
certain runs that we want certain guys to have, and and then if a guy gets dinged or tired or whatever, then Coach Bonifo will rotate those guys. But it's most of it is done during the week in terms of what we want those guys to get. And then you're always, if somebody, like I said, carries the ball more than we thought on a certain series and we need to give him a spell, he'll rotate guys in.
What are you seeing from Pleasant? I mean, what is that he's bringing along with the other two guys?
Yeah, he's a good player. He's unique in terms of his, different ways. He's kind of a downhill, hard-nosed runner that can break arm tackles, and he also does a nice job blocking. We've had some stuff in the past where we put him in, and he's kind of a, he's just kind of a hard-nosed, old school type running back. We like to use him on special teams. He's getting better there. I think special teams is the ultimate telltale. When you see who's on special teams, that tells you who our football players are, whether they're on offense or defense, because it's football in space. You got to have athletic guys, and especially when it's an offensive guy, because they don't practice tackling like our defensive guys do. And Kamari is one of those guys that we're trying to make a run and push him in that direction.
Speaking of special teams, I know how much you pride your guys on covering and whatnot. What has it been the last few games in terms of whether punt cover, kick return, that's been tough for these guys to contain?
Really good returners. Covey he's fearless. He's hard to tackle. And we know about Nikhil. We missed 4 tackles on him. 4 guys missed him. So that's probably the biggest thing right there. Now we got to do a better job of corralling and working together, and kind of fitting off each other in terms of those type of things. But, some of it and before was, a little bit kick placement and those things. But Joel put the ball right where we needed it, and we missed 4 tackles on him. So sometimes your coverage units, they take a minute to, because you just, like even our kickoff coverage, like you don't practice those things like you need to. And so you got to get those kind of reps in the game, and it takes a minute to get up to game speed.
You talked about cleaning up the tackling and maybe how there were some missed tackles that maybe he wasn't expecting. Does that ring alarm bells at all when you guys have been so solid in that area, and then all of a sudden in one game it just all of a sudden shows up?
That's always, there's not a defense in the country that's not worried about that. That's the number one thing you have to be good at. And so you work on it, but you don't work live on it. You get as close to live as you can. And so you get your chance once a week, and game speed is different than practice speed. So you're always working on it, but it's never at the game speed. And, you create space for good athletes. It's the hardest thing defenders have to do is tackle in space. And one guy, we always say, can't make that tackle. If he does, hallelujah. It's got to be a couple guys there owning their leverage and tackling the guy together.
In that regard, does it make what Ben did on Saturday even more remarkable, how consistent he's been in that area?
Yeah, I don't know if in that regard, he just plays well, and we've thought that for 2 years. We really have. He's showing up maybe a little bit more on the stat sheet than he has in the past. Certainly 20 tackles is rare, and that's not going to happen all the time. But he does a lot of subtle things that maybe he doesn't even show up on the stat sheet, and he has for a while. I mean, he plays at a different speed, and he's done a great job.
Coach, K-Dot's grandpa, legendary coach in this state. Did you notice him coming in with a higher IQ, and just what's K meant to this team so far?
Yeah, K's done a great job. I always think it helps when those kids come from football families. I think it's a bonus when you're recruiting them, and it doesn't always translate, but a lot of times, and most of the time, I think it does, that they bring a little something more to the table in terms of, the football intelligence thing, and so Cade he's done a great job for being a freshman. And playing a real difficult position for us. You guys are, mentioning his name because he's catching a few passes, and that's fine, whatever. That's not why I'm really excited about him. I think that's icing on the cake. I'm excited because of all the dirty work he does as a tight end on the line of scrimmage, and he's doing a nice job there as well.
Chris, when you look at BYU and you talk about how they're 180 degrees different, it seems like when you looked at your first 3 FBS teams, they've all had kind of that dual threat thing going with them. And yet Tanner Mangum seems like he's a totally different guy. In what sense does that maybe fundamentally change what you try to do?
Well, yeah, you guys should take a look at the tape. It is extremely different how they're running the ball. It's, there's so many spread teams, the zone read game. There's none of that, nothing of that. But they have their own unique way how to keep the defense honest with this fly sweep game, and half of it's running fly sweep and the other half's running the ball. You're going to see a quarterback take a snap from under center and drop back and throw a pass. How often do you see that? With no play action. He'll play action, but he takes a straight drop and throws it. So, it's a unique style. And, that's the beauty of college football. You're always getting something different in terms of everybody's got their signature way of doing things, which I think is different than the NFL, certainly.
Does it have any basis in some of the styles that you saw when you were at Boise State and you were having regular games with BYU?
They didn't have this style when we were there at all. When we were there, it was more of, throw it. This style. I think the coordinator back in the day was at Boise State, but before I was there, and but he came from LSU where they were running a lot of that fly sweep game, and which was really unique how LSU was doing it last year, and they've done a great job with it. They really have. It's they're playing. It's a unique, again, that style of football where they're playing really good defense. Nobody scored a bunch of points on them. They're super sound, and I think a lot of it has to do with their offense, what they see all the time, because you got to have great eyes, and you're not going to take chances and blitzing. They're going to keep things like they play it tight, they play it in front of you. You're not going to, sometimes when guys are taking chances and all these different blitzes, if you can pick it up, you can get a lot of space out there. You can get a lot of good one-on-one type stuff. This is the opposite, is where they're going to keep things in front. They see them. They got great help, and they have really good eyes in terms of the RPO game, because of all the stuff. I think a lot of it has to do with how their offense goes at them, probably in practice. And because if you don't, you're going to be lost.
What do you remember about Tanner when he was at Eagle?
Yeah, heck of a player. Yeah, we liked him a lot. Yeah, I cannot believe he's still playing college football. I'm like, huh? But he was an awesome kid. Back in high school, even just really liked him. And then I think he went on his mission, and then went to BYU, and been over there a long time, and seen a lot of things, seen a lot of defense, played a lot of football, and he's experienced fifth year quarterback. Yeah.
There's been a number of guys across the country transferring now that they're 4 games into the season.
Yeah.
Keep their red shirt and all that. Did you anticipate that being a side effect of the new red shirt rule?
Yeah. No, I hadn't really paid attention to that, to tell you the truth. Yeah. I saw a guy or two transferring, but I hadn't really thought of that.
Chris, you mentioned ASU just kind of run on Saturday. What did you make of your run defense overall, specifically defensive line, just getting off blocks on that game?
Yeah. I thought they were solid, I mean, that style and a little bit of the style we're going to see, it's, I should say it's a different overall style, but like running the ball and keeping it into third and very manageable can be hard things to go against. You're trying to protect the big pass game, and they're in there pounding on you, and your secondary, you're playing that chess match, and so it can be hard. But I think at the end of the day, it's always about points. I mean, and as long as our defense is holding them out of the, keeping the points down, and we got to do some things on offense to score points.
Look maybe as accurate Saturday as he's looked all year. You have to throw to Quentin on this side that in the end zone was pretty fast.
It was a throw.
Obviously, big rack, but his accuracy would take a step, you think, on Saturday?
I think he always throws like that if you give the guy a chance. I mean, everybody wants to just throw stones at the quarterback, but you give that guy a chance to set his feet. You give him time to breathe a little bit. He's an accurate thrower, and he knows what to do. And I thought, like I said, I started this talk saying our offensive line really did a nice job of, getting the run game going and then play action off it. He can set his feet, and I think it changes everything for the quarterback.
That's probably as good as it's been, you think, Saturday?
It was good. It was good. He had a chance to sit back there, and he did a couple of really nice things in the pocket. Jake did again of just sliding and gliding, and which he has in the past couple games as well. We've talked about just those tough plays. We're trying to do too much, and we can eliminate those. Does a pretty good job.
Get classes starting Wednesday for your guys. How does that change things?
It does change things. I think it's good and bad. We're morning guys, and we're going to start earlier in the morning, and that's a tough thing for college kids. But I also think it's good because I think these guys are ready for some variety in their life and why they're actually here to be in class. And so it'll take a minute to get into a rhythm of that, but it is definitely time.
Is it helpful with that week that the game happens to be at home?
I don't think that totally changes things at home, because the only thing that would affect us on Friday a little bit, that when we're at home, our guys will still go to class for the most part. And if we're on the road, they don't get to class because we don't take classes in the morning. So Friday would be the day that would kind of affect us, not the rest of the week.
I was also curious, just from the TV standpoint, I know how you feel about the night games and all that, but when you have a back-to-back road games and then the UCLA now has not been announced until next week. Do you guys, does the department try to lobby the TV people for that extra 3 hours that would probably help you guys get home earlier and those types of things?
There's no lobbying. We just play. I mean, it is what it is.
Winner, okay?
Well, you know, he got a concussion, so he's in the concussion protocol.
Any other updates?
on strategy, scheme, or injuries, like everything.
Give us your first 15 plays.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anything else, guys?
I do really appreciate our awesome crowd. That was fun to be in on Saturday, and I anticipate another one. You know, I know they're expecting a lot of people, and this will be a good football game. I mean, this will be an exciting game. It really will be. I mean, those guys, we got a lot of respect for this team. I mean, they go into Wisconsin and knock those guys off, and you can see why. I mean, they play good football. They really do. And so this will be a nice college football game in terms of the environment and all those type of things. And 5:30, I mean, that's pretty good. And excited to play. Thank you, guys.